Hey everyone, it's me, the guy that shows up, drops a video, and then screws off to wallow in his own existential dread. Mythic J! You've probably been seeing the community tab posts I've been, posting to talk about my creations from time to time. Well, yeah, about that. I love to create. I don't talk about it much here, but I make stuff all the time, whether it be like crafts, art, stories, and even music. I've never really tackled stuff like, game development before, though, as it was always so elusive and mysterious to me. Roblox Studio was a luxury that I couldn't really fully experience until I had a PC. Well, I had a PC. It was a Chromebook. And it ran like pig. Ah, yes, the start to my very disjointed rant. So, Roblox Studio, it's kind of weird if you think about it, you know? You got a toolbox of all this stuff that other people made, and then you have a bunch of other tools that you can make your own stuff. You can also put that out there for other people to use, so on and so forth. And then you got a scripting section over there, like, what is that? And then you look over here, it's like, what, there's an animate section? Oh, what's next? What's next? Am I gonna get ice cream? At the time, I was blown away. Once I got an actual PC that actually could run Roblox, well, it was great. It was a great feeling. I got Roblox Studio, and immediately I went to town. All I saw was free models, and I'm just like, you know what? I can make it work. I had no scripting knowledge, I had no nothing, and I made this somewhat functioning game. It's called The Island of the Forest of Oof, which was meant to be a story-driven exploration game. Even if this version looks not like that, it just looks like a mess of free models. But hey, you gotta start somewhere, you know. Island of the Forest of Oof. Yep, there's Bob, the boy, the myth. Is this thing floating? Oh my god, it's floating. Yeah. Oh my god, what is going on here? How did you get down here? What are you doing? Oh no! I also do remember later on down the line, I had a couple of games related to my Roblox group. Now, I used to have this Roblox group. It was essentially like a clan, in quotes, called C Bloodline. And don't ask me what they stand for, because I have no idea. I just saw 3 C's, and I'm like, I don't know, that fits. I made this little hangout area for all of the members to just kind of hang out, all the different ranks. We can hold meetings and stuff. I used to hold meetings, and then we all used to gather together, and we talk about stuff. And it was Star Wars related, because it was a Star Wars group, and at the time I was hyperfixated on Star Wars, you know, Star Wars. Around that time, I started to get the basics of developing done, but mostly building. A lot of building, actually. There was some script modifying here and there, but I had no idea what I was doing. I just would take stuff from the toolbox and, you know, just kind of fiddle with it. But a lot of this stuff, you know, you can start to see the early stages of, wow, I can actually make something in Roblox that can be functional! I started out with small models like badly made guns, badly made hats, and badly made clothes. But I was starting to improve slowly but surely. It's one heck of an improvement compared to my stuff during the summer of 2019, though. That was when, well, I discovered Roblox Studio. Early 2020 was around the time where I actually started to read up on tutorials on the dev forum and experiment with what Roblox can actually do. It eventually led to other cool things like early versions of Mythic fighting maps, and the C 2022 hangout that I eventually abandoned because this group was long dead. Nonetheless, less free models, and you can actually start to see something grow. You can actually start to see something here.
hamburger.
Ah, Mythic Fighting. This was a game I originally made to impress the randomizer developers, as, at the time, I would not stop playing this game. I think at one point I was addicted to it, so much so that it was in my own detriment, but that's a story for another day. This is a typical randomized weapon game, just with more jank and spaghetti code. Lots of spaghetti code. I started out with an old Roblox combat game template, and it eventually branched off from there. It had a lot of phases, where it went from R6 to R15 to R6 again, where the weapons changed drastically. But, eventually, I found a randomized weapon script in the toolbox and modified it accordingly. Because originally, Mythic Fighting wasn't randomized. Essentially, you would have a set amount of weapons, but you can only choose through the same three. A sword, a gun, and some sort of healing item. And that was it. And there was only a set amount of maps, as I didn't know how to have a map loader at the time. I eventually obviously found a script from the toolbox that remedied this, but, you know, I had to Frankenstein a lot of code to get my stuff there and to get it to what I want. In fact, a lot of Mythic Fighting just kind of consists of Frankensteining code. You get this one part of the code, and then you get another, and you just kind of slap it together to see if it works and does what you want. So, the early days of Mythic Fighting were very experimental, to say the least. There were actually a couple times where I would reach out to even the randomizer people, funnily enough, and ask, hey, how do I do this? And they would give me an answer, and to be real with you, I would not understand a single word of it, because a lot of the problems I had were script related. But after a while, I started to catch on with the lingo of Lua, and I'm still not 100% familiar with it, but I at least have a okay grasp at it, especially considering the fact that I used to just put code together and just see how that would work. A lot of trial and error for sure, though the specific programming language can be weird at times. Enter Lua. I have never heard of it, and neither did a lot of my other techie friends that I talked to. Fun. It's pretty lightweight and beginner friendly, but some parts of it just throw me for a loop. Like, for example, I'm learning JavaScript as well, you know, also known as BLIT. When I go back and forth between Lua and JavaScript, I don't get a few things. For example, in Lua, why are the variables global by default? JavaScript doesn't have that, at least to my knowledge. I can't tell you how many times I'd have music or, you know, sound playing, thinking it would only play, you know, from the tool that you're holding, or maybe just the player, only for it to play for the entire freaking server? What? It's also prone to errors. I know this doesn't mean much from someone who can barely code to begin with, but I would look on the developer forum and see a bunch of other devs complain. Maybe it's Roblox's engine? I don't know. Gmod uses Lua, and never mind, that's an unfair comparison. As I was editing this video, new stuff, new policies on Roblox, because, yeah, because of the controversy and all the lawsuits. Why do I do this to myself, man? I don't know why I do this to myself. I've noticed that most Roblox games follow these same few paths. It either gets so popular that greed takes over and just becomes a cash cow, and then just kind of gets milked, and then just kind of goes, burns out eventually. And then we have controversy. That's a big one. Usually during the developmental drought or in the midst of an update, screwing everything up. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard, this dev exposed for bad things, and it said bad things to this guy. Like, guys, for the love of God, what is wrong? And finally, Roblox's policy changes and motivation being lost because of it. That's what I'm experiencing right now. I made a community post about it. Am I happy? No! Anyways, there's also burnout. Burnout's a huge one. It is huge. I tend to overextend myself, and a lot of devs do too. I can't speak on the financial side of Roblox, of course, since I'm doing this just for fun and passion, but after a while, you just kind of get into a rut, and your mind tells you to keep on working, to keep on pushing through, when you already exhausted your creative juices, and you feel horrible because even after, you know, giving your all and stuff, and you're resting, now you're like, I could be working on this now. it's a paradox. It really is just a paradox. You're essentially trapped in your own mind. And on top of that, video game development is demanding, especially if you're an indie developer. Oh my god. It combines different elements of other mediums and mashes it into this thing. You got like voice actors if you want your game to have like spoken dialogue, then you have scripting, and then you have like the camera work and cinematography for cutscenes. Have you seen some of the video game cutscenes out there? It's like a freaking movie. Look at Metal Gear's cutscenes. Jesus! And then we also have balancing for a lot of like fighting games because, oh, you know people are going to complain about that. I know, particularly because I'm a Smash Bros. Player. Or was. Then you have optimization, making sure the game runs, especially from, you know, a technical perspective, because I have a powerful computer, and it works great. It works great on my computer, my game. But on other people's computers, it doesn't. So now I gotta figure out what's the issue with that. But I can't find the issue because because mine can handle it. So I don't know if it's them or me or what, and just, why do I do this to myself? Also, being an indie developer kind of sucks eggs. If you're a one-man band, all I gotta say is good luck. I got some help from my friends for Mythic Fighting, but most of this is me. It's both the best and worst thing, since, like I said, you're trapped in your own mind. Your own bubble, if you will. You have no deadlines and you can work at your own pace. Errors! Oh, yeah, we got errors, but it doesn't matter, because it's only me. Only I'm looking at this. See, look, this is fine. Ignore the fire in the background. This is fine. No one else is gonna look at it. But then when you have a group, oh boy, you gotta worry about creative control and managing and finding compromises, yada yada yada, all that same stuff. It's just a group project at this point, you know. Now that we got a group involved, what will happen to the game? Will it stay the same or turn into no? It's a whole can of worms, is what I'm saying.